Yo, what's up? These are my picks for UFC Fight Night, Tyra versus Park. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. In the main event, I'm picking Tatsuro Taira, and I think he'll win by submission. Next, I'm going with Chris Duncan over Matthias Rebecki. Although this will be a very close fight, could go either way. I mean, just like any fight, really. The next one, I will go with Esteban Ribovics, even though I was not too happy with his performance last time, but it was against a veteran like Nasrat, so perhaps it's more forgivable. He has a win over Daniel Zellhuber, which is good, but Zellhuber just had a poor performance against Michael Johnson. But he's facing a guy coming off of two losses and a KO loss to Joe Alvarez. Yeah, I think Ribovics has this one. The next one, next fight, Carla Rosa versus Nora Cornhole. I don't know, it's a, I always got to preface these fights by stating the obvious and saying that it's a woman's fight, so you never know. And then also you see that Nora Cornhole is 35 years old, so she's 5 years older, but that might not mean anything. She's going against a girl with a not very nice looking record, 18 wins, 7 losses. And Nora herself is 9-2. So tough, tough, tough. But I will go with my gut and go with Nora Cornell. Probably to win. Just go decision. Oh, so most people are actually going with the underdog. That's kind of interesting. Next, I'm picking Neil Magny in this fight. And he seems, he should be done with professional fighting at any point. He's getting up there in age, but his opponent is of a similar age, and actually he's older. So although you see all these losses from Neil Magny, they're against Carlos Prates, Michael Morales, Ian Gary, so are all acceptable. And a win against Mike Malott, a KO win, is a good win. And a decision over Phil Rowe, it's a good win. Now this dude lost to Chitty, um, which is understandable, but it's okay. Randy Brown's kind of old, ain't he? So I lost to two black dudes, and he's up against another black dude. That's just even more reason for me to pick Magny, and I'll go KO, maybe round one. And I'm pretty sure in general, Liza Zaleski is kind of chinny, but most people are picking Zaleski. All right. Next, Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. I will go with Kevin Vallejos. Mm, yeah, he's pretty solid dude, if I remember him correctly. Yeah, he had that nice KO win recently. And he's new. He's new, but he fights with intention. He's looking to hurt his opponents. And he's younger than Danny Silva, who's kind of described as a young buck from the commentators, but it's because he's new to the UFC and he is kind of young in age. Um, Josh, Angelo, Lucas Almeida. Yeah, so Kevin Vallejos, I'll say KO, I'm definitely not counting Danny Silva, and at plus 345 odds, it'd be kind of nice to have him in parlays. Nick Klein versus Andrei Pulayev. I'll go Andrei Pulayev. Win. Don't really know how. I kind of want to say KO because we saw him get we saw Mansoor KO Nick Klein recently. But in that fight, everyone was kind of shocked at how not so easy it was for Mansoor to KO Nick Klein. And I don't know if that's an issue, like a skill level issue or stage fright, right? Because it was his debut in the UFC. But Nick Klein kind of showed moments of genius, not really genius, but like being slick, a bit slick. I think he had like a spinning elbow. He had some moments where he reminded everyone he was like, he was live to win the fight. So yeah, we'll go with Pulayev. Next, Rinya Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. This is a Japanese dude, right? Yep. In his last fight, he did so horribly against Muin Gafarov, who I think's from Palestine. Um, but everyone was shocked. He didn't. He's supposed to be this great wrestler, and he wasn't able to implement his wrestling against Muin. I thought it was to the extent that it was because he was throwing the fight purposely. I remember I made a silly little YouTube short accusing Arinya throwing the fight because the Japanese Yakuza threatened him. I mean, you never know. Here again, he's a big favorite, minus 430. And I think he was leaving larger in his last fight. But how can you come into this fight trusting him to win? So I'm going to pick Renya, but I'm not sold on him, not at all. And for Fletcher, his recent win was against Callan Lawren. It's kind of whatever. So I won't completely discount him as far as my parlays go. Rodolfo Vieira, another guy who just kind of shit the bed last time. Did a bunch of nothing, didn't go to his bread and butter, which is supposed to be jiu-jitsu. And Trayshawn Gore is kind of a anomaly. We know he's tough, took a beating against Marco Tulio and was finished in the, you know, very late into the fight. And Antonio, Josh Fremd, Cody he got KO'd by Cody Brundage just so bad. Lost to Brian Battle. Hmm. This dude lost to Andre Petroski, Armin Petrosian, he won. Cody Brundage won. Chris Curtis, decision loss. Dustin. So I think the smart pick is definitely Rodolfo, but going off his last performance, I don't trust him. And Trayshawn Gore is always live for a KO, and he's not a quitter. This fight, I'm going Rafael Estevim. I mean, this should be a pretty easy fight for him to just add another win to his perfect record. Felipe Bunes, you can see by his record, is kind of a win loss fighter. Mm, Yeah, let's not make this too complicated. Decision, KO, KO. Maybe by KO. If Van can KO him, I think Rafael can KO him. Pierre Rodriguez versus Ketlin Souza. Dude, look at Ketlin Souza, and then take a look at Nora Cornwell. Cornell. I'd like to see them fight each other, just because they kind of look similar. Guess it's all the tattoos, and they're both kind of shorties. This fight, Pierre Rodriguez is the favorite. Ketlin Souza. She lost to Angela Hill. Hmm. Isn't she the one who's supposed to have all this power? This is the girl who was doing the intentional headbutts. Oh, okay. Wow. Same height? I don't know. I'm going Souza for some reason. That's what my brain is telling me. Maybe a late KO. Austin Bashi versus John Yanis. There's a lot of fights in this card of people who kind of like messed up, like this girl headbutting, or people who just recently had poor performances that when they were expected to perform well, like Rodolfo Vieira, Renia, and then Nick Klein, who actually performed well against Mansoor, who was supposed to just run through him. Danny Silva, who was supposed to be this great, you know, great fighter who just kind of gave a whatever performance. I'm noticing a theme here. So in this fight, John Yanis, who is that? Big underdog. Again, I don't like that Austin Bashi is such a huge favorite. He shouldn't be this favorite, even against someone like this dude who we don't know much about. Doesn't even list his gym or his reach, but he gets KOs. Mm. Yeah, I'll go with Austin Bashi, but definitely not money line worthy. I could see this random ass dude knocking him out. Anyway, good luck to everyone. Hope you make some money. Um, yeah, if I had to pick some of my most confident picks out of all of these, what did I miss? I missed something? What did I miss? Yeah, I had Chris Duncan, but that's a pretty ballsy pick because Rebecca's kind of a dog. But you never know who's gonna get KO'd, just like last week. That 42-year-old Russian KO'd that 10-year younger Brazilian dude in the first round, early in the first round. I'm going Duncan. Yeah, am I most confident if I had a. I don't really like to include the main event, so you can exclude this one because because the dude's undefeated, so you don't know. But I'll go Tatsuro Taira. It's a pretty solid pick. I think Esteban Ribovics is a pretty solid pick. Um, Neil Magny, Kevin Vallejos, Andre Pulayev, Rinya, as long as he doesn't try and just throw the fight. Rodolfo, you'll be clenching your cheeks the whole fight. You'll be puckered up Hoping he doesn't screw your parlay up, but he should be good. Yeah, Rafael Estevim to me seems like the most solid pick on this whole card, but he's minus 500. Mm, yeah, later.